Hello students, welcome to the biology class. Today we are going to continue with our chapter Excretory products and its elimination. In our previous session we discussed about the urine formation, and today we are going to discuss about the counter current mechanism or counter current system. What is counter current system? That is the loop of Henle. The loop of Henle, which is hairpin-like structure having descending and ascending limbs, and vasa recta, that is a capillary surrounding the loop of Henle, are responsible for concentrating the filtrate, that is your urine. The flow of filtrate in two limbs of Henle's loop, two limbs means ascending and descending limb, and flow of blood through the two limbs of vasa recta, that is a pericapillary tubular structures present on the loop of Henle, are in the opposite direction, that is in the counter current pattern, and this is called as the counter current mechanism. The flow of filtrate in the two limbs of loops of Henle's are in the opposite direction and they form the counter current system. Due to the counter current and promixity between the Henle's loop and vasa recta, the osmolarity increase from cortex to the inner medullary interstitium, and this gradient is caused by NaCl and urea. NaCl is transported by ascending limb of Henle's loop, that is exchanged between the descending limb of vasa recta. So one is going in ascending manner, another is going in the descending manner, means they are opposite to each other. NaCl is returned to the interstitium by ascending limb of vasa recta. Similarly, small amount of urea enter the thin segment of ascending limb of Henle's loop, which is transported back to the interstitium by the collecting duct. Thus, electrolytes means NaCl and the urea are retained in the interstitium and maintain the concentration gradient in medullary interstitium. This enables easy passage of water from collecting tubule to concentrate the filtrate, that is the urine. Thus, DCT means distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct produce urine 4 times concentrated than the initial filtrate formed. So these are the various steps of your counter current mechanism, and now we will discuss about the process, that is micturation. What is micturation? This is the release of the urine, and the steps is gradual filling of the urinary bladder, stretching of the urinary bladder, then stretch receptors on its wall send the impulse to the central nervous system, CNS pass on to the motor message, contraction of the smooth muscles of the bladder, and simultaneously relaxation of urethral sphincter takes place, which leads to the release of the urine, and the process is known as micturation. The neural mechanism causing micturation is called micturation reflex. The neural mechanism causing micturation is called micturation reflex. An adult human excretes 1 to 1.5 liter of the urine, that is 25 to 30 gram urea per day. Urine is light yellow colored, watery fluid, slightly acidic, pH is 6 and has a characteristic odor. Various conditions affect the characteristics of the urine. Urine analysis helps in clinical diagnosis of many metabolic disorders and the malfunctioning of the kidney. Glycosuria means presence of glucose, and ketonuria, presence of ketone bodies in the urine, indicates the diabetes mellitus. if there is blue color of the urine, that means no glucose. Green, traces of glucose in the urine. Orange, moderate amount of glucose, and the brick red means large amount of the glucose that cause the glycosuria. Another excretory products, or you can say the organs other than the main kidneys, we are having the lungs, liver and skin. These are known as the accessory excretory organs other than that of your kidney. Lungs, which remove CO2 and water. Liver, which secretes bile containing bilirubin, biliverdin and cholesterol, and degrades steroid hormones, vitamins and drugs. Most of them pass out with the digestive waste. Skin, which is rich with the sweat and the sebaceous gland. Sweat contains water, NaCl, small amount of urea, lactic acid. Primary function of sweat is to give a cooling effect on the body surface. Sebaceous glands means the oil gland eliminates sterols, hydrocarbons and the waxes through the sebum. Sebum provides a protective oily covering for the skin. And another excretory organ, that is your salvia, it eliminates a small amount of nitrogenous waste. The next and the very important topic is the regulation of the kidney functions. Regulation of the kidney function, it is done by hormonal feedback mechanism which involves hypothalamus, then just JGA. J stand for the juxta, G for the glomerular and A for the apparatus, and then there is the heart. So changes in the blood volume, body fluid volume and ionic concentrate activate the osmoreceptors in the body. Regulation by ADH, that is by the hypothalamus. When the body fluid level decreases, the osmoreceptor stimulates the hypothalamus to release the antidiuretic hormone, that is ADH or vasopressin. It stimulates water reabsorption from DCT and collecting duct. Thus, ADA prevents diuresis and increase the body fluid. Increase in the fluid volume switches off the osmoreceptors and suppresses the ADH release to the complete feedback. ADH constricts the blood vessels, resulting in an increase of BP. This increases the glomerular blood flow and GFR. The another is by regulation by juxtaglomerular apparatus. So this is the glomerulus. There is a special sensitive area called as the juxtaglomerular apparatus formed by the cellular modification of DCT and afferent and the efferent arteriole at the location of their contact. They release the, or you can say, the regulated the GFR by the renin-angiotensin mechanism. A fall in the glomerular blood flow, glomerular blood pressure, GFR activates the juxtaglomerular cells to release the renin. Renin that converts the angiotensinogen into the blood of angiotensin II, that is a vasoconstrictor. Angiotensin II increase the glomerular blood pressure and thereby the GRF, and they release or activates the cortex to release the aldosterone. Aldosterone causes the reabsorption of the sodium and water from the distal part of the tubule. This also leads to increase in the blood pressure and glomerular filtration rate. A and F, that is a heart part, that is known as your atrial wall of the heart, that increase the check on the renin-angiotensin mechanism, increase in the blood flow of the atria. Atria is the receiving chamber of your heart, cause the release of atrial natriuretic factor, that is ANF, and they cause the vasodilation, means the dilation of the blood vessels, and thereby decreases the blood pressure. So these are the various factors which regulate the kidney functions. Now we will discuss the disorders of the excretory system. The first disorder is the uremia, that is accumulation of the urea in the blood due to the malfunctioning of the kidney, and it may lead to the kidney failure or the renal failure. That is the stone or the insoluble mass of crystallized salt, oxalates, etc. formed within the kidney. Next is your glomerulonephritis. It is the inflammation of glomeruli. Hemodialysis, it is the process of removal of the urea in the patient with uremia. The dialysing unit, that is your artificial kidney, contains the coiled cellophane tube surrounded by dialysing fluid. It has same composition of plasma except the nitrogenous waste. Blood drained from the convenient artery is pumped into the dialysing unit after adding an anticoagulant like heparin. The porous cellophane membrane of the tube allows the passage of the molecule based on the concentration gradient. As the nitrogen wastes are absent in the dialysing fluid, these substances freely move out and thereby clearing the blood. The cleared blood is pumped back to the body through the vein after adding the antiheparin to it. It is the ultimate method in the correction of acute renal failure, that is your kidney transplantation. A functioning kidney is taken from the donor. It is better to receive the kidney from the close relative to minimize the chances of rejection by the immune system of the host. With this, we finish the various disorders as well as the mechanism of the kidney, and in our next chapter we will discuss about the locomotion. Till then, stay home, stay happy, have a nice day. Thank you.